Today we are talking about the Manosphere and the Incels. This is Analytical Media. We are a consortium, a group of therapists, college professors, and well-published peer-reviewed authors. We will be focusing on incels. That's the involuntary celibate. That's people that aren't having sex, but not by their own choice. They are not having sex because it's barred from them. Women will not have sex with them. We'll also be looking at the broader manosphere, encompassing groups like pickup artists, PUAs, men's rights activists, red pill adherents, and the sexual marketplace where women's preferences are seen as hypergamous, favoring only the top tier of men based on their looks, their status, and their money. That is called LMS Theory. As you know, you can participate in these communities. You can learn how to get girls by paying $49.95, for instance. So let's start with the 80-20 rule, where 80% of women supposedly pursue 20% of the men. So that means that most of the women, the vast majority, are only after one man in five. The other four they don't want, because those men are the alpha males or the chads. So everybody other than the chads, sometimes referred to as the betas, don't have a chance because girls don't want them. But for some amount of money, you can be allowed into their private message boards, into a program, into a site that will teach you how, for as little as $49.95, to be happy and find girls. They believe, in a very pessimistic way, that women are shallow and biologically wired to reject, quote unquote, the inferior men, unless those inferior men very radically self-optimize, which they can do various ways: plastic surgery, self-improvement courses. One way is Lookmaxing, which maximizes physical appeal through grooming, skincare, bodybuilding, which is called, by the way, gym selling, or measures like surgery to mimic chads, the alpha males. It would be to get taller. It would be to develop their jawline and have plastic surgery to develop a more symmetrical face. This is what incels believe will help you get a girlfriend. There's another website, Unwomen.org, which believes in status and money maxing. Build wealth or social standing as a compensatory factor because looks are deemed primary. This group also mocks ideas about self-confidence or charisma. They say it's ineffective because only top genetics win. Many incels conclude that everything is a band-aid in a rigged system, which leads to resentment rather than action. Incels can recommend violence and have engaged in violence against women with the idea that they are being cheated because women will not have sex with them. Women will not date them. And somehow they feel they have a right to the attention of a woman, and they are being cheated out of their right. Thus, it leads them to violence. In the manosphere, it is more action-oriented, treating attraction as a game that can be mastered through self-improvement and tactics to flip power dynamics. So the manosphere is a little more optimistic, saying that you can work on various things to make yourself more attractive to women. They promote the red pill awareness of alleged female nature. Women test men, crave dominance. That's the manosphere. Women want to be dominant. And you can learn to play games to dominate them. Here's an inner-outer game called peacocking, which suggests you wear flashy outfits. They will make you appear high value and non-needy. Women allegedly respond to ambition and emotional stability. So it's a game you play with them. In the category of approach and interaction, they're telling you to be direct but unpredictable, lead conversations, tease lightly, use touch or eye contact to build tension, and avoid debates. This will create emotional spikes and inverts typical dynamics where men chase, so that women can chase. In logistics and frame control, set plans decisively. Date near your home or your place. Maintain the mystery about you. Pull back to create scarcity. And dominate without apology. This will position you as the leader, fostering desire through perceived control and safety. That comes from unwomen.org. Critics label these ideas as being manipulative or even coercive, but they claim they're effective counters to modern dating biases. It's a way you can counteract the natural tendency of women. The basic argument of these groups is that they have a right to sex with women, they have a right to marry women, to be involved with women, to be loved by women, and they are being cheated out of their right. Well, even though tens of thousands of men subscribe to these ideas, especially young men, and are paying money for advice from these people from the Manosphere, it's nonsensical, it's asinine, it's ridiculous. No one has a right. Women don't have a right to control men. Women don't have the right to have sex with men. Any man, much less a particular man. Men don't have any more rights than that. They don't have a right to have sex with a woman, any woman. So the very basic premise, the argument of the incels, is ridiculous. It is not at all believable. And these men who can't get dates, these men who claim not to have sex, who never have had sex, these same men who have failed and believe in this idea of involuntary celibacy, they're giving advice. And they're charging $50 for you to get their advice. Isn't it kind of like paying the loser to teach you how to become a winner? They're failures. What could they possibly know? By their own admission, they're failures. What could they possibly know about women, about life, about psychology? They are admitted failures. Now, they blame women for being failures. Nothing wrong with them. Something wrong with women. Women are not fair because this is a wonderful guy. They believe themselves to be quite good. Do they know anything about women? The Manosphere, the admitted losers, they admit it. Women don't want them no matter what. That's why they're up for raping women. They're up for killing women. They're also up for selling advice to people who are dumb enough to buy it. Buy advice from a guy who is an admitted loser with women. Read his book, his article, his server, for advice on how to be successful. Well, who would believe that this incel, this person from the Manosphere, who would believe they had advice that worked? Because if they had advice that worked, why are they still a failure? These groups, these people, they believe they understand what women want. It's saying a lot. It's saying a whole lot. They understand it. But what if I were to tell you that they couldn't possibly understand it because women don't understand what they want either? Ask women what they thought they wanted when they were 17, 18, 19. Ask them what they ended up with. Did their quote-unquote Prince Charming arrive? Or did their Prince Charming, what they thought to be the Prince Charming, all the qualities and characteristics that would make for a good man, a good male, a good partner, were they not what they thought they were? Did they think they were A, B, C, and D, and they turned out to be M, N, K, Y? They don't know. Any more than young men don't know any more than young women. And young women know more than young men. They just know they're interested in the opposite sex. They'll make a lot of mistakes along the way. Their picture of the perfect man will change dramatically over time. And can you speak for all women? That's what the Manosphere wants to do. They want to describe all women. All women want this. All women want that. Or at least 80%. You can clump those together. They want this same thing. But think about this for a minute. Something as basic as a man opening a door for a woman, that's basic. You either do it or you don't. The point is, what impact does it have on a woman? If you fail to do it, will a woman think less of you? It's possible. She might. However, it's just as possible that that woman would be upset if you opened the door for her. Like, she doesn't need a man to open a door for her. She can open her own door. She can run her own company. She can record her own music. She can write her own books. She doesn't need help from a man. She's a prize to be cherished and protected and treated like she can't open her own door. So, each person is an individual. Each man, an individual. Each woman, an individual. They're different, completely different. You cannot lump them into a category of 100% or even 80%. That's ridiculous, it's nonsensical, it's asinine. Some women will choose to have children, and some women will choose not to have children. They'll argue with each other. It's a mistake to have them. It's a mistake not to have them. It's a mistake to wear makeup. It's a mistake not to wear makeup. It's a mistake to wear a bra. It's a mistake not to wear a bra. Women are different, so there can't be any broad rules about this. If I can return to the idea that a woman can only think about what she wants, and she'll date guys and find out that's not what she wanted. She thought this would attract her. It didn't attract her. She thought this would make her happy. It did not make her happy. And she'll refine her choices over time. So, the Manosphere can't speak for women who can't speak for themselves. Now, I am going to make my point by referencing a song from 1962. The song was by the Crystals. The title of the song was He's Sure the Boy I Love. And this was produced by Phil Spector. Although one may say bad things about Phil Spector, he was incredibly important to the development of music, rock and roll, the same stuff you listen to today. He's Sure the Boy I Love. The song sung by Darlene Love of the Crystals, written by songwriters in the Brill Building in New York City. It's an amazing thing if you're interested in music. Check out the Brill Building and the songs they wrote. Were just about all the songs in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. All the hits. Darlene Love is singing that she thought she knew what she wanted in a man, what man would make her happy, what kind of man. She thought she knew. She had her checklist of what would make her happy. All the kinds of things you might think. Money, looks, job, status. But she ends up with another guy. And the one thing she can say about him is he's not what she thought he should be. All the things she thought he should be, the guy she ended up with isn't. But the one thing she can tell you, does he have the money? Does he have the big cars? Does he have the fame? Does he have the success? No, he doesn't have anything she thought he would have in that checklist she'd made. He didn't have what she thought he should have, would have. In fact, in many ways, he was the opposite. But, she says, but he's sure the boy I love. Bingo. None of those things on the checklist, none of the things the Manosphere talks about, none of the things the Incels talk about ever has anything to do with love. Love is like magic. No logic and no thinking can prepare you for love. And I may add this to the thinking of the Incels. Love has nothing to do with sex. You could love someone very deeply and find them to be one of the worst sexual partners you've ever had. And that's far more important that you love them than how good they are in bed. The Incels need to focus on understanding sex and sex and its relationship with love. Incels will and have killed women, and yet they're killing women because women won't love them or have sex with them or date them. Because it's the woman's fault. She's into the 80-20 rule. All she wants is a guy who has a chiseled chin and is very handsome and is rather well endowed down below. That's what they think. That's what all those people in the Manosphere think. Well, if you're one of those people in the Manosphere or an incel, it's time for you to wise up. Nothing they're selling you is true. Nothing. If women are so valuable, then why do you want to kill them? They talk about killing women like taking their life, the woman's life, is a big deal. It's like, whoa, that's the worst you could do. I'm going to punish this woman the worst I can by taking her life. Yet, in every case, they are sacrificing, the incels are sacrificing their own life to take the life of a woman. Because either they get killed or kill themselves, which they oftentimes do, or they get killed by the police, or they go to jail forever. They've given up their entire life. Sometime when you're walking through the mall, look at the couples you see going by. Sometimes you see a truly beautiful woman with a really ratty, ugly-looking guy. And then you think, well, I understand that because this guy's filthy rich. But then you see them go to a car that's worse than your car. Rust everywhere, primer everywhere. That's what Darlene Love will tell you in this song. That's the kind of car her guy has. She wanted him to have a big fancy car like a Lincoln Continental. But it didn't work out that way. Or a BMW. Or a Mercedes. But he has a beater. And he's not as big as she thought he'd be. Doesn't have any money. In fact, he's unemployed. That happens in real life. Because you fall in love, as she said, but he is sure, beyond a doubt, the boy I love. Love is where it's at. Love is not definable. It's not quantifiable. It's not limited by any rules that the brightest of people put together. I would point out one thing to you, people who are semi-religious. Know somebody who's religious, whose grandmother once went to church. It says in the Bible, the definition of God. What is God? God is love. Could it be that mysterious? Could it be that God is love? Well, that's what it says in the Bible. You know, is love so powerful that a girl could fall in love with a guy who's deformed, poor, dumb? And the answer is yes. Love conquers all. You've heard that said. So, my advice to incels, my advice to people in Manosphere, well, to the business people in Manosphere that are selling this shit, keep it up. You know what you're doing. It's working good. I pat you on the back. You're taking advantage of young, dumb people. Those things go together. Young and dumb. You've heard it. Young and dumb. They're taking advantage of the young and dumb. Only hitting them for $50 here and $25 there. But I feel bad for the people who've turned to that, to the Manosphere, because you have no chance of ever improving your life. What you got to do is you have to get into therapy. And it's the truth. You got to find out what you're doing that turns off women. It's not what your chin looks like. It's not that crooked front tooth. It's not your receding hairline. It's not the acne. It's none of that. It's you. You've got to learn to listen. You've got to learn to understand. You've got to learn to have sympathy. You've got to learn respect. Respect for that woman. And you're going to demand she respect you too. Demand it in the sense that if you don't respect me, I won't be here. Not if you don't respect me, I will beat you up or kill you, which the incels recommend. It's respect. You've got to learn what you're doing wrong. Are you over-disclosing? Telling too much stuff you shouldn't tell? There's lots of psychological work done on that. It's a big turnoff. Are you coming from the wrong place? Are you believing you got to pretend to be an alpha male? Develop those alpha male characteristics. You know, an alpha male might fool a younger girl into having sex because she doesn't know which end is up. She doesn't know what's going on either. She is also young and dumb, but of the female persuasion. She'll learn quickly. And that alpha male who did his best to be his most alpha, to fool this girl, to get her in bed, and fool other girls and get them into bed. He'll end up with no decent girl. He might get him into bed, but pretty quickly they're going to find out they're not really interested in him. Being an alpha male is not a good thing. Young girls might think it's a good thing, but with experience, they'll reject these guys. Plus, it's ridiculous to classify men as alpha or beta. Now they have fine line discrimination terms in between those two. Now there's something greater than an alpha, supposedly. Makes no difference. Forget the concept of alpha and beta. Forget that continuum. Forget it completely because it's nonsensical anyhow. There are people who are more socially apt, who are more socially skilled, probably because they were raised in a larger family or had a lot of friends when they grew up, and that'll help them in relationships. Their social skills will be better developed. They'll know when to pause in a conversation. They'll know how much to talk about themselves. They'll know how much they should encourage the other person to talk. They'll know how sensitive they should be to what they hear. Not pretend to be, but actually be. Psychopaths, by the way, stink at this. Stink at having relationships. Stink at getting girls to like them. It might be a tendency, some quality that's shared between the alpha males and the psychopaths. It also doesn't matter whether the girl loves you. And that's what's implied in all of this material from the Manosphere. You gotta get her to love you, which is like saying, shit, if I can get her to love me, I will automatically love her. Anybody who loves me, I'm gonna love them. If she'll take me, I'll take her. Think about it. That's not true at all. You'll find that there will be women who do love you, who you won't love back. This isn't the right woman for you. Be a friend, but can't be your love interest. Also, therapy will help you understand the difference between love and sex. And what a difference. You know, you see people that have been married for 50 years still talk about how much they love each other and their world revolves around each other. Ask them how sex has changed over those 50 years. 50 years ago, they couldn't keep their hands off each other. 5 years later, they were lucky to have sex once a week. 10 years later, maybe once a month. But did they ever stop loving each other? No. Their love simply got stronger as their sexual interest declined. Look, keep this in mind. I could get you a prescribed drug Do we completely eliminate your sexual desire? Completely. Male or female. Might take a slight combination you might have to work with. A hormone specialist, but you might not either sometimes. One drug will do it. You have no more sexual interest. Does that mean that you no longer love anyone? Of course not. I'm telling you the truth whether you want to believe it or not. Take it or leave it. You need to change your personality. If women don't like you, you need to change your personality somewhat. You need to figure out what you're doing wrong. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean you're a bad person at all. It just means you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to be a good person in a relationship. You don't know how to be someone's partner. And who could help you with that? Therapists. Therapists of various kinds. I would recommend humanistic, of course. Counselors, therapists. Learn about yourself in therapy. Learn what you're doing wrong in therapy. And it could be one of 10,000 things. Or it could be 10,000 out of 10,000 things. The good news is, if you're aware of it and you want to improve, you can change it. But if you're unaware of it, you can't change it. And without therapy, you're unaware of it. If the only help you're getting is coming from the Manosphere, you're in big trouble indeed. This is Analytical Media. Help us help other people by subscribing, sharing, commenting. All those things send us to more individuals. It sends it out. YouTube sends it out to more people. We hope you're fine. We hope your family's fine. We hope your life's gone well. We wish you the best of luck. And we hope to see you the next time we post. Take care.